35. I cannot believe I am 35 weeks pregnant now. I am actually today, I'm 35 weeks and 2 days pregnant. I made this video on day 35, on 35 weeks and 0 days, but then something came up, and then I tried to make it again yesterday, and then something else came up, and so here I am today. It's going to be a very, very quick video because I am barely having enough time to sit down right now to do it, but anyways, so I'm just going to jump right in. Not a whole lot has happened between the last video and this video. I did have to go to labor and delivery because, one, I thought my water broke. And I've never had a spontaneous rupture before, but I seriously thought it broke. I was sitting down eating lunch, and then I just felt like a gush. And not so much to where it felt like I completely wet my pants, but it was enough for me to just stop talking and I had to get up and go figure out what was going on. The fluid was clear, there was no odor, so I called and they said you need to go get checked out. So I went in and got checked out, and it was not amniotic fluid, so that was exciting to hear. And then, but they couldn't verify what it was. So, I was there for about an hour, and then they let me go home. And then that was Saturday night? That was Sunday. And then in between Monday and Tuesday, I had to go back because I was having such intense contractions that I thought that they were so different that I thought that I absolutely needed to go in and get checked out. By the time that I had went in, they had gotten as close as 3 to 5 minutes apart, and they were in my back and in my hips, and they were just not comfortable. I had started tracking them when they were about 10 to 15 minutes apart, and then they progressively got closer over a couple hours, like about 2 hours. So when my husband got home from work, I went to labor and delivery, and I was there for a little bit, and then they pretty much said at this point in my pregnancy, if it is real labor, that they would not stop, then they would just send me to a different hospital, but to go home and get as much rest as possible, because from the time that I was admitted until the time that they released me, there wasn't any change, but there was change from the time that I got there and then my previous checks. So, I went home, went to bed, tried to sleep, and then by the next day they had gotten back up to 10 to 15 minutes, and then 20 minutes, and then they eventually went back to my normal 1 to 3 every hour. And so since then I've only had one more bout of contractions, but in a cluster like that, but they didn't feel like they did that day. And that was on Monday night, Tuesday morning of this week. That being said, everything looks fine. He is doing fine. I go in, I have the next 3 weeks set up. I have 36 weeks, 37, and 38 weeks. I just cannot believe that I am so close to the end, and I am still not ready. Mentally, I'm not ready. Physically, we still have some stuff to get, and get the room completely up and going, or up and prepared. But for the most part, it's actually really good. Symptoms-wise, I have had something, and it's been going on since the 3rd trimester, probably, towards the end of the 2nd trimester. But for sure this trimester, if I don't have nausea, I don't have vomiting, which has been this entire pregnancy, which has been nice. But if I eat too much, and too much for me is literally the amount that my kids eat, which isn't a lot. So too much for me is if I get so full, I start burping, and it's disgusting. It is so, so gross. I will burp until I have to throw up because I burp up food, and I can't, it's just so much. So I have to literally snack throughout the day versus eating one meal, one bigger meal 3 times a day. And actually, I don't even eat 3 meals a day. I can't even tell you the last. I ate breakfast yesterday and felt sick all day. So that was the first time I had breakfast in months. I don't eat breakfast, and I know that's bad, but I just don't eat breakfast. But also another thing is weight gain. I think I mentioned it in my last video. I had been sitting at the same 5 pounds for about 6 weeks. Now, 6 or 7 weeks, now I am down 2.5 pounds from my 34-week appointment. So from 34 weeks until 35 weeks, I have dropped 2.5 pounds, which brings me back down to 2.5 pounds over my pre-pregnancy weight. Nothing crazy. My doctor isn't too concerned. They have talked about induction, and I can't remember if I mentioned this in my previous video, but they talked about induction because there was a lack of weight gain, but the main reason was my growth has slowed down dramatically. I remember at 24 weeks, I had mentioned that I was measuring 27 fundal height wise, and then at 27 weeks, I was still measuring 27. I have grown, but I haven't grown enough. I'm not sitting at 35 weeks, if that makes sense. So they measure by centimeters, for those of you who don't know. They take this tape measure thing, and then they measure from your pubic bone to the top of your uterus, and that tells you if you're on track. I think 1 to 2 weeks behind or ahead is normal, but after 3 weeks, they start to do ultrasounds to make sure that the baby's growing properly. This one is kind of a concern because with my son, I stopped growing completely at 34 weeks. It could have been that he was in my back. It could have been that he was had already engaged in my pelvic bone, which we know that this baby is. So at 39 weeks, they induced me because I was 4 weeks behind, and he was measuring, according to the ultrasound, he was measuring in the 10th or 15th percentile. When he was born, he was in the 50th percentile. So that just shows you how off the ultrasound can be. But I also could have had less fluid. I don't know. Either way, by 39 weeks, they would like to induce because if I haven't grown, they want to induce so that way there's no risk for in utero growth restriction. But as of right now, we're still chugging along. We are 5 days away from 36 weeks, which is our goal in this pregnancy. So bed rest has been my worst enemy, but my best friend, because I'm able to relax more. I'm able to lay down, and the kids are really great about letting me just relax. So, and my oldest daughter has been fantastic with helping me out with her little brother and little sister. But I'm in, what's today, the 5th? In 5 days I get to go back to work. I don't know how long I'll be working, but I'll be working until I deliver, so we'll see. Hopefully we make it to 37 weeks. But that being said, I don't think there's really much more to update on. I ordered a diaper bag, and I'm super excited about it. I ordered it like a week and a half ago, and it just now got shipped. I ordered it from Amazon. It's a Vera Bradley diaper bag, so when that comes in, I'll definitely put that in the video. Don't forget to subscribe, because at any moment, I'm a walking time bomb. At any moment, I could have this baby, and I am so thrilled that God has blessed us and allowed us to be able to make it this far in the pregnancy, especially since at 24 weeks we started having all these complications, and then we lost the previous baby. So I'm just so grateful that we've made it this far. And yeah, so don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully we make it to 37 weeks, but definitely keep an eye out for a birth vlog. So if you think about it, every other video is on an odd week, or every video is on an odd week. So the next video could potentially be the birth vlog, and that's so exciting. but scary. Oh my goodness. So anyways, with that, I'm going to end with a belly shot, and then we will see you next time. Okay, ladies, so here is with the shirt down. I definitely feel like he's dropped a little bit. I know he's in my pelvic bone, but I definitely feel like he's dropped. So there's with my shirt down, and you girls tell me what you think. If you think he's dropped or not. I'm definitely sticking further out, that's for sure. But it is at the end of the day, and I have eaten today. So, alright, there's my 35-week belly. We will see you next week, or next time, for either a update or a vlog of the birth. Alright, bye ladies.